just to give you all a quick story, I have a 2.5-year-old girl and a brand new 3-week-old girl. I'm finishing up my rank 1, and I've got all this going on with school, and I'm going to be reliant on this PowerPoint that I typed a month ago. Okay? It's just been real crazy 2 months. My problem in practice, students don't have immediate access to up-to-date literary resources. And when I say literary resources, I'm meaning internet resources. A lot of times in the past, I like case studies. I like for kids to come in and be completely involved in what they're doing. And I have an excellent resource. I've shared it back in the spring. Thousands of these case studies that are 10, 12 pages long. Well, a kid comes in, I hand them a 10-page packet and say, I want you to read this, put yourself in this situation, and do the research. They're going to look at me like I'm crazy. Well, I went with acknowledgement of the problem. I'll get back to that point in just a minute. I got ahead of myself. Acknowledgement of the problem. The issues is identifiable by examining yearly school inventories. The inventories show a lack of adequate numbers of textbooks, multiple content areas, and we lack a way of self-publicizing those self-created content. Okay, so my strategy is to create this interactive digital library, and it's made up of 18 Kindle Fires and 2 charging ports. It would also allow students to have access to other modes of information, online resources, which is really where I found this to be golden. Practice problems, videos, applications, and visual aids. Again, the resources, 18 fires, 2 docking stations. My question is, does an interactive digital library allow students immediate up-to-date access to relevant educational literary resources? Now, before we go to the outcomes, I want to show you or tell you what this is like for my students. For example, I'm out for 2.5 weeks for the birth of my second kid. I'm not making a bunch of copies, not doing all that. My kids can come in, get the Kindle, scan a QR code, and up pops that case study. That would take them 3 to 4 days to work through. These case studies put you in the place of a scientist, of a doctor, and you're doing what they do on a daily basis. You're researching, you're looking, you're watching videos. And the Kindle is a great way to express that type of media. The outcomes, is students have immediate access. We went through that. No. Teachers can easily and cost efficiently self-publish resources. Students have interest in content areas and will improve due to the use of Kindles. And that goes back to what I said earlier. When I hand them that 10 to 12 page packet, they look at it like it's a huge daunting task. They don't want to do it. They think I'm just loading them up on busy work, they say. Well, when I hand them the Kindle and I say, scan this QR code, I want you to work through this case study. It's different for them. Times have changed. They can't take a piece of paper and really teach themselves. So this case study that I use these Kindles as the media platform actually put them in the place. They're reading, they're looking at pictures, they're watching video clips that are hyperlinked into it. So it's really neat, and I really like them. I actually work through them myself before I give it to them, just to see if I find it entertaining, maybe they will. Measures the outcomes. I kind of measured the outcomes through their response to surveys. Kind of ask them, compare and contrast your effort with a packet. Do you think when teachers hand you packets, do you classify it as busy work? You know, when you get the Kindles and you come in, scan the QR code, does that make you more, your drive, want to finish the project? And also use pre and post formative assessment data. I call these case studies formative assessment. It would take me months to go through and read them all. So I use them as formative assessment. And I just kind of compared and contrasted. How many finished all the way through? How many stopped and gave up? And when I looked at that data, I can see that there was a positive correlation between the use of the Kindle Fires and student completion of my case studies. And that's my contact information. I'm 3 minutes short. Any questions?
Did the grant pay for the Kindles?
Yes.
Okay.
The grant paid for the Kindles and the docking stations, yes.
How does the Kindle Fire compare to the durability of the
About $240. Honestly. Durability-wise, I looked at getting cases too. I looked at getting maybe 10 and having them work in groups and getting 10 cases to fit them. But when you look at the case costing you $20, and you can catch Kindle Fires on sale for $49.95, it's almost cheaper to replace the Fire than it is to buy the Kindle Fire, or the case.
I'm interested in that.
I like it. It cuts down on my copying. Everything I have is on this big Google Drive, and I'm way over organized, and I can just click, build the QR code, post it on the screen. They come in, scan it.
Do you do the QR codes yourself or?
The generator. Yeah.
What do you teach?
I teach biology, AP Environmental Science, and anatomy. And the case studies apply to that really good. AP Environmental, I can put them in an ecologist's shoes. Anatomy, I can put them in a doctor's shoes, a nurse's shoes. It's great. I usually do them at the end of chapters, but when I miss, I kind of throw easier work through the Kindles to them. And I failed to mention, 10 years I've built a lot of PowerPoints. I've accumulated a lot of PowerPoints through Teachers Pay Teachers and Google and search. And if I'm out for an extended time, all I have to do is go to my Google Drive and download that file and email it to every Kindle. And it pops up in PDF format. So it's like a textbook on the Kindle. And I can tell them to read it and work through it and take notes and finish their work.
With the PowerPoint?
With the PowerPoint. But it turns to PDF when you email it. So it works out really well.
How long do they stay for?
About 2 days. Because they're not heavy surfing. Once they scan the QR code, it brings up the internet source, and it's just on that one page.
So you just need 2 docking stations? You just need
Yeah, each docking station holds 10
Oh, okay.
Kindles. Questions? Comments? Do you use them for anything that I don't know? And this grant was not an original idea. I like the paper they gave us this year. Kind of make you think, how can I use this in my class? I mentioned this back in the spring. I stole this idea. I had all these case studies, and I was printing out all these copies, and I was here last year on the Activating Catalytic Transformational team, and I sat in on one of my colleagues' presentations, and he'd done this grant, and I was like, why didn't I go downstairs and ask him? But I had to come here to see it, so it was really good. And that's it.